The other misnomer that I heard, my lord, from the response by my learned colleague was that this is documentary evidence. But if we read the two Balekas, where Van Dijkhoff clearly says we mustn't confuse video footage evidence with documentary evidence, because on the latter, which is the video footage evidence, the best evidence rule does not even come, because you can introduce a copy if, for instance, the original has been lost, as long as also it can be authenticated as to originality. Authenticity goes only to weight, my lord. So we mustn't, according to the Balekas, that's what it says. That's the court pieces, my lord. Those are my submissions.
Yeah, having listened to the submissions and the counter submissions by the state, by the defense, I'm of the view that if the state argues that the evidence which it wants to lead now is relevant, then this court cannot deny the state to lead that evidence, because the defense, in any event, if it feels it is prejudiced, they can cross-examine on the basis of the evidence being inadmissible. So consequently, the application is granted.
As the court pieces.
So there you have it. That is the ruling there by Judge Ratha after some few days, some back and forth with regards to the version of the video footage. So some little bit of some background. What was going on is that the defense and the state were going at each other, with the state trying to introduce the ENCA video footage to showcase that Longotwala was actually not injured on the day that Senzo Meyiwa was shot, and the defense was pushing against the introduction of this video evidence. So after having heard both sides, Judge Ratha came in with the ruling. Now let's break down what that ruling really means by Judge Ratha. What Judge Ratha said there is that he is allowing the state to use this video footage from ENCA. So Judge Ratha is coming in and saying, I cannot stop the state from using this video footage if they deem it relevant to this Meyiwa trial. However, at the very same time, Judge Ratha is also saying, I am giving an opportunity to the defense to discredit this video footage during cross-examination. So that's how Judge Ratha settled this matter of this video footage. But the thing that is there on the table is that the defense, they did not want this video footage to be introduced even at all, right from the beginning, because now it's now forcing them to discredit this video footage through a rigorous, cross-examination, and it's going to eat up some more time, and they will have to research and try to find ways to poke holes into that evidence. Of course, they can succeed in discrediting the video evidence, but on the other hand, what can end up happening is that the video evidence has been introduced anyway. It has been showcased, the video has been played in court, and Baloyi is going to be putting his arguments on the table, and the defense is going to discredit. So they can succeed, but that is not exactly what they wanted. But however, having said all of that, this has opened a huge gap, like this ruling from Judge Ratha with regards to this video evidence. It has opened a huge gap, a massive gap, and this gap is for the defense to now call Longotwala to come and testify before the court, and you'll be testifying under oath. Because the state is relying on the video footage to say Longwe was not injured. But what the defense can do now is to actually call Longotwala himself and cross-examine him. So overall, looking at this ruling by Judge Ratha, can we say it is fair or not fair? And let us look at both sides, and first consider why it can be fair, then look at the other side. The first side, is that Judge Ratha sort of like applied like a well-established legal principle, that evidence should be admitted if it's relevant. So that doesn't mean it's accepted as truth, only that it might help establish the facts. So Ratha was like, didn't want to block evidence too early because it can lead to appeals and claims of an unfair trial, etc. So Ratha brought the video evidence and saying the defense can actually challenge it. So he was sort of like moving with the standard procedure. And the other side, why it may be seen as unfair, the ruling, is the video without the witness. Because the state introduced a video about Longotwala but didn't call him to testify, it's kind of unusual, And the biggest one is that we are human beings, definitely human beings. Once something is unseen, no, let me start again. Once something is seen, it's hard to unsee because you've already seen it anyway. Obviously, somebody else can come in and challenge it, but I've already seen it. So, yeah, the defense can come in and discredit the footage, but Ratha has already seen the footage. So that can have a subconsciously an effect on Ratha. But anyway, you never know. But from the way I see it, the footage would have already been played. So the funny part now is that what if tomorrow, the defense brings in their own like WhatsApp video footage, some amateur footage that would be circulating on social media? Like, what would Judge Ratha do? That would be really spicy because Judge Ratha would be forced, to follow the same logic that he used initially in allowing the state's video. Because in that instance, the defense would be arguing and saying, the video is relevant, it's showing this, and that, and it's going to help the case. And obviously, the state would object to that, but the irony now is that Ratha will be accused of double standards. So it would be more of like a counter attack by the defense, because they'll be like trying to expose the earlier ruling, to make it seem like it was biased or something. So that's the challenge with this ruling that has been laid out by Judge Ratha there. But obviously, there's going to be arguments of like the source, the reputation of the source. The state took the video from ENCA, so we are now trusting them based on their reputation. And this one will be like a WhatsApp footage, and it doesn't have, that reputation. So maybe it would be rejected based on that, but it would be very, very interesting because it's now time for the state, for the defense. It's now time for the defense to be introducing their own witnesses and their own evidence. And I can foresee challenges, coming in the future with regards to this ruling because you've allowed the video from the state and said that the state is saying that it's relevant. The defense is going to bring their own video. Imagine that video from Absalom Zungu where he was interviewed by the Daily Sun, and they introduce that video and say this is relevant to the case. It's going to be very interesting going forward. And sometimes it's very hard, to be a judge. It's very, very hard. So I'll catch you guys on the next one.